This ball is crushed.
You're listening to the New York Yankees Recaps Podcast, where we're talking New York Yankees baseball all season long. Recaps of big games, the best home run calls, trades, rumors, and what's happening down on the farm. Every game, all season long.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NYY Recaps, your weekly Yankees podcast. So here's the deal. We're about 5 days out from spring training games. February 22nd, the Yankees open up their spring training schedule against the Toronto Blue Jays. That is at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. I've been there. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance to go down and see spring training, it's just such a different environment. It feels like you're watching a minor league game, only with major league players. So I rode the train down from my home in Raleigh, North Carolina a couple years ago, and I decided that the best efficient use of my time would be to take a train overnight from, maybe midnight to 7 a.m. I don't know what time it left, but those are the basic hours. And my thought was that I would just bring a hoodie and use it as a pillow up against the window and just kind of sleep the whole night. But here's the thing. There was about a foot of room between my window seat and the actual window, so I couldn't lean over to lean up against the window. It was very uncomfortable. It was cold, so I had to wear my hoodie, so I was just basically sitting up. And then the guy next to me, who got on the train about maybe a half an hour after me, he left his phone sounds on. So, he had that Facebook Messenger ping. You know that ping that happens whenever you get a message on Facebook Messenger? I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't use Facebook. I hate Facebook. But back in the day, when I used Facebook, I used to hate that sound. I used to hate all phone sounds, so I would turn them off. And this guy, even though it was supposed to be quiet hours between 10 or 11 p.m., whenever it started, and 7 a.m., he left his phone on, and people kept giving him dirty looks, and I kept giving him dirty looks, but he didn't care. He just kept it on. So I didn't get any sleep. I was up all night. I was miserable. By the end of that journey, I was like that guy from Ghost. The ghost on the train. Like trains. You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the movie, it's from the late 80s, and Patrick Swayze is a yuppie from New York who is murdered and becomes a ghost, and he goes on to the New York subway, and there's this creepy guy who looks like he should be straight out of Night of the Living Dead, but he's a ghost that's been living on the train since some people pushed him in front of a train, and so he's kind of the protector and the guardian of the train, and he's the only ghost that can make physical contact with stuff. He can, push people and throw newspapers in the air, all sorts of weird little stuff, kicks coffee cups, nothing huge, but he broke some glass, but anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I was like that guy. Get off my train! So I get picked up by my buddy Mickey, who lives in Florida. He had driven up from Jacksonville to pick me up, and we met up with his dad and his dad's buddy, and we went and saw the Yankees versus the Blue Jays, and Giancarlo Stanton hit a monster home run that hit the scoreboard in left field. I think that there was no measurement, but somebody estimated it at 468 feet. So it was a bomb, and it made a sound like a thunderclap, boom, and then it just takes off. So sights and sounds of spring training. If you log on to the Yankees Twitter account, they posted some video of Garrett Cole pitching his first inning of spring training. Even though it was an intra-squad game, he threw 14 pitches and struck out 4 batters. Ho-hum, no big deal. One thing I've always wondered about spring training, because I haven't experienced this yet, but maybe if you have, go ahead and mention it in the comments on YouTube or whatnot. When a new player joins the team, does John Sterling do the custom home run call during spring training, or does he wait to break it out during the season? I feel like he usually waits. I remember it was a big deal when Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run during the first game of the 2018 season, I think it was. And he said, Giancarlo, no si può stopparlo, or whatever. And nobody had heard that before, and everybody's like, what did he say? What did John say? Nancy what? What language was that? You know, what the hell? Let's do a John Sterling episode. I wrote this all out. I wrote a bunch of bullet points. I was going to talk about the Yankees starting 9 from 1995 through 2019, but screw it.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Here is John Sterling's call for Giancarlo Stanton.
Stanton, the National League MVP last year, swung on and drilled to deep right center field. It is high, it is far, it is gone. It is first Yankee at bat. Giancarlo non si può stopparlo. It is a Stantonian home run, a 2-run blast to right center in his first Yankee at bat, and the Yankees take a 2-0 lead.
I didn't know it was that easy.
So John Sterling is actually 81 years old. 81. He looks good for 81. I paused this recording to read up on John's Wikipedia. And, you know, he's got some interesting things about him. So there's apparently some confusion over his age. So sometimes people say he's 71. If you ask your Amazon Echo device, I'm not going to say her name, how old John Sterling is, it will tell you 71. I know this because I just asked. But Wikipedia lists him as 81 according to the 1940 census, which had him as 1 year old and living in Manhattan. So I'm going to go with the census. I've been listening to John Sterling since about 1989 or so. I think that's when he joined the Yankees. When I was a kid, I used to get put to bed around 8 p.m., but my brother down the hall would always listen to the Yankee games on a radio in his room, so I would sneak out of my room and go down to his room and listen to the Yankee game for a little while and usually fall asleep at the foot of his bed or something like that. But I got to know John Sterling and Michael Kay as the voices of the Yankees, and they were the voices of the Yankees through the dynasty. It wasn't until 2002, I think, with the launch of the Yes Network, that Michael Kay joined the TV side. And then at that point, John Sterling had some different radio sidekicks. He had Charlie Steiner for a while, and then eventually Susan Waldman. John Sterling is a legend in broadcasting, though. He did the Atlanta Braves broadcasting for a while, and actually one of the greatest calls of all time by John Sterling wasn't even with the Yankees. It was with the Atlanta Braves. So I'll give you the backstory. There was a pitcher. His name is Rick Camp, and he was quite bad at hitting. Just a quick glance through his career batting stats. Now, this is from 1976 through 1985. He had a career batting average of .074 with 1 home run, which you're about to hear, and 7 RBIs in 197 career plate appearances. So he was bad. He had a negative 39 OPS plus. So he was 39% worse than the average hitter. Actually, 39% worse than 100% worse than the average hitter. So 139%. Oh my God. He was really bad. So I'm just going to let John take it from here.
Well, this is why you always save a player. This is absolutely the reason. I thought the Braves did the right thing. They let Runge take a shot at winning it, and he hit the ball well. But now 2 outs and 0 on. The Mets are waving their outfielders in. The whole Met team waving their outfielders in. Here's Rick Camp with a game on the line. 2 outs and 0 on base. It'll be an 0-2 pitch. And he hits it to deep left. Heat goes back. It is gone. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Rick Camp. Rick Camp. I don't believe it. Remember what I just said. If he hits a home run, that certifies this game as the wackiest, wildest, most improbable game in history. On an 0-2 pitch, Rick Camp hit it over the left center field wall. I don't believe it. If you only knew on the Braves, we kid Rick Handler is hitting more than anything. Ernie.
Nobody can believe it. Kemp makes it 11-11, his first Major League homer.
I mean, that is the most improbable act. Let's see it again, Ernie.
We got to look at this another 50 times. That goes deep. It's out of here.
And it hit the football bleachers. I mean, if you told me that John Sterling's going to run for president and win, that wouldn't be any more improbable. And I got to tell you, that's improbable. Unbelievable.
Not sure if I mentioned it or not, but that home run was in the 18th inning, the bottom of the 18th inning. So, crazy. And John Sterling, what a call. I mean, the guy's a national treasure. So, some of my other favorite calls that I was able to find, this one is one of my favorite calls of all time, but the sound quality on this one isn't as good, and I want to set this one up for you. So, the Yankees had just come back and win the previous night in Game 4 of the World Series on a home run. Tino Martinez hit a game-tying home run with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. And that was the first time in World Series history that had ever happened. And so, when the Yankees were in the same position the following night, it was quite unlikely that it would happen again. So, here is John Sterling reacting to the most unlikely of events. This is the call of Scott Brosius hitting a 2-run home run to tie the game during the 2001 World Series. Take it away, John.
Losada is the base runner, so Brosius, of course, the tying run, with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Now Kim, 1-0. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. I don't believe it. Once again, deja vu. A 2-out, game-tying 2-run home run by Scott Brosius. Probably the most unbelievable feat in World Series history. Scott Brosius ties the game with a 2-run home run. What was it Al Michaels said? Do you believe in miracles? 56,000 Yankee fans here say, yes, we do.
And Kim looks like he's in shock on the pitcher's mound. And here comes Bob Brentley, and he will take him out. Oh, my goodness. What a moment. Here at Yankee Stadium, this is, as Yogi would say, deja vu all over again. And Scott Brosius takes a curtain call, and the Yankees are delirious. The fans are delirious. And Young Kim is absolutely devastated on the mound.
You notice that he didn't say something like, Scott Brosius is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't think he really started with the home run calls for every single person until later in his career. During the 90s, there was Burn, Baby Burn, when Bernie Williams would hit a home run.
No one on, bottom of the 8th, 1-0 Seattle. It'll be a 3-2. Swung on and hit high in the air to deep right. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Bernie goes boom. He drills a home run the short way in the right field seats. Burn, baby, burn.
And Sterling is not above singing into the microphone.
Swung on, hit in the air to right field and deep. It is high. It is far. It is gone. A Stantonian home run to right field. Giancarlo Non-Domenicar. That ball sure traveled far. Giancarlo.
And John Sterling is just one of those things that comes with the Yankees. Kind of like how Bob Shepard used to come with the Yankees. You know, that voice of God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center field. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Again. I mean, this, like Maltese Falcon, this is stuff that dreams are made out of. Gary is scary, and the Yankees take a 4-3 lead.
I think one of the things that's also great is that he can change a player's persona. Mike Tauchman was a journeyman outfielder who comes to the Yankees. He hits a home run against the Red Sox, his first career home run, and John Sterling coins him with a nickname. I couldn't find the call without any dumb music over it, but he coined the term Sock Man. Mike Tauchman was never called the Sock Man before John Sterling, and now, there's Sock Man posters. There's probably going to be a sock giveaway night this year if Tauchman's on the team. Mike Tauchman socks. Who knows? But John Sterling, I love John Sterling. Look, he has his share of bloopers as well. Let's not kid ourselves.
Pitch is high. The throw to second base is not in time. So Nix, the ball club, is walking off the field. I thought he called him safe. Meanwhile, they called him out. Didn't you see safe?
I saw safe. Well, Nix was standing on the plate. Isn't that strange? Struck out. I see.
It was strike three. Here's Casey McGee. Deleted off. He popped up to the catcher's first arm and cuts and misses. No, he cuts and hits a fly ball down the left field line. And the ball is foul. McGee is heading towards second as the throw comes in. And he's staying at second. Runner goes. Jeter swings and lines one to left center field in the gap. And that ball is going to be in left center field off the wall. 2-run score, and the ball is caught.
So John Sterling is not perfect by any means, but I love John Sterling. Look, only 5 more days until spring training begins. I can't wait. I know you guys can't wait. Short podcast this week. I can't wait until there's games to talk about and player performances to talk about. It's really hard to podcast during the offseason. You got to come up with all these topics and all this stuff. So looking forward to, and look, I'm tired of talking about the Astros scandal. I know everybody wants to talk about the Astros scandal. You can't change it. It happened. The Yankees lost in 2017. They lost in 2018 to the Red Sox, who were probably cheating. And they lost in 2019. The Astros were probably cheating again. Look, they cheated. Get over it. It sucks. Major League Baseball should punish them worse, but the backlash is going to get them. I mean, guys are going to throw at them, So we'll see what happens, but I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of speculating about it. Buzzers and trash cans and whistles and horns and lasers and boobobs and doodads and who knows. I'm just tired of thinking about it. I want regular baseball to happen so that we can look at how guys are performing on the field rather than thinking about all this stuff. So, all right, join me next time. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast, and check in every week. During the season, if this podcast takes off, I'll try and do one, multiple times per week, maybe even every day if it really takes off. So we'll see. But thanks for listening. See you next time.